What's up, guys? It's your boy Zawoki back at with another crime video, and this one has definitely hit home because I have a 13-year-old daughter, and this monster decided to destroy his family and murder his stepdaughter, Maddie Soto, and now Stephan Sterns wants to toss out the blank abuse evidence that was on him, and this is ridiculous. Also, Miss Jennifer Soto needs to be in prison as well for allowing this to happen, and we're going to look at all of this right now because apparently in his trial in court and so forth, he's trying to get this ruled out. So before we go any further, if you guys could do me a solid favor and subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting that white bar icon down at the bottom right. Hit that bell icon next to it, so when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video, and then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, I thank you guys all for the love and support, and then make sure you guys go over to Law and Crime Network, give them the love that they deserve and where it is due for putting this together for us to watch and learn more about this monster himself. So, let's take a look.
He said he had accidentally factory reset his phone.
Detectives are...
What? How do you know how many buttons you have to go through to accidentally do that? Yeah, accidentally my butt.
Are pushing back against Stephan Sterns' claims they violated his rights when they searched his phone as he tries to get evidence in his sexual battery case involving Maddie Soto thrown out.
Did they have a warrant?
They did not.
What a scumbag. When you commit, I still think this, when you commit a crime, your rights are gone. There ain't no, yeah, your rights are gone. Oh, my rights were taken advantage of because they went through my phone. Dude, you murdered her and you did a whole bunch of nasty pedophile crap, you...
Welcome to Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Stephan Sterns is asking the judge presiding over his sex crimes case to throw out evidence. This is the case where he faces more than 60 counts of sexual battery related to Maddie Soto.
Put him in prison and throw away the key. He took an innocent girl's life.
Sterns is also charged with murdering Maddie in February of 2024 at the condo she shared with her mom, Jen Soto, in Kissimmee. He has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges. The murder case is a separate case, and if convicted in that case, Sterns could get the death penalty. Now, while investigating Maddie's disappearance, Kissimmee...
She should get it too! Look at how he just sits there knowing what happened and playing stupid and dumb.
Police detectives and detectives with the Orange County Sheriff's Office interviewed Sterns, and they asked to see his cell phone on 2 occasions on February 27th, 2024.
Take it.
This exchange was audio recorded.
Is it okay if I go in your...
Why could you take my phone? Because I have nothing on it that would show this kind of crap. You might see some bidding on some Iron Man toys, but...
Settings real quick. I just want to see if you're logged on to your Google.
I am not logged on to my Google with that, actually.
Is it okay if I check?
Yeah.
Now, Sterns claims the detectives should have had a warrant, despite him allowing them to look at his phone. He wants the evidence found on the phone suppressed, along with the evidence recovered from his Google Drive.
She asked, he consented. Why? I don't understand. She asked him for his consent. He gave it. Done.
Police have said they found more than 1,700 images of Sterns sexually abusing Maddie on that Google Drive that was connected to his phone. Sterns testified at this hearing briefly.
Did you come into contact with law enforcement in February 2024?
I did.
During your contact with law enforcement, did they seize or take an item from you?
Yes, they did.
What item was that?
That would be my cell phone.
Do you know what type of cell phone it was?
It was a Samsung Galaxy, I believe it was a 24.
And what was your understanding, if any, as to what they were going to do with it?
They were just going to check my Google Maps and check
That's not what she said. She didn't say Google Maps. She wanted to check if you were signed into Google. That's not what he. No.
And that was it. That was all I agreed to.
Were you shown or did they have a warrant?
See, he's trying to alter the words to make it benefit him. She didn't say Google Maps. She wanted to see if he was signed into Google, which your Google is connected to all the devices you have. Like my Google is attached to my phone, my computer, my Xbox. But yet he wants to sit there and say, oh, they were just checking my Google Maps.
They did not.
Then it was the prosecutor's turn to question Sterns.
Pursuant to the questions you were just asked, you had indicated that you did not consent to
I heard it. You heard it too, right? He said, yep, take my phone.
the search of your cell phone.
I consented only to them looking at the Google Maps and checking to see if I was logged into Google in the first place.
Did you have the opportunity to see what law enforcement was doing on your cell phone?
No, as a constable was still talking to me, Tagler walked away and began searching other things that I did not consent to.
Isn't it true that she actually handed your phone back to you?
Briefly, once she told me to input my PIN because it had locked itself.
The burden is now on the state. The prosecutors have to show that detectives did not violate Sterns' rights. Here's Detective Mara Tagler talking with Sterns about his cell phone back in February of 2024.
If you hand over your phone, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to look at pictures. They're going to look at videos. They're probably going to look to see where you were that day. They're going to look at your internet searches. They're going to look at your data, your drive. I mean, they're going to look at it. And you consented when they asked you. If you would have said no, they probably would have gone to get a warrant for it. And he's trying to throw this out. Dude, you murdered a 13-year-old and you're worried about the blank abuse?
And then I also noticed, I was checking your call history. I noticed that you don't have anything before this morning. Is that usual on your phone?
No, it's a new phone. Stupid. I went to do an update yesterday morning, and I don't know what the fuck. Pardon me. I don't know what the heck I did, but somehow during the massive OS update, I managed to factory reset my phone and lose all of my contacts, all my information.
What time was that? Do you remember?
That's bunch of crap, because if I go into my phone right now, where's my settings? Settings. So he said he wanted to do a what?
Massive OS update, I managed to.
Okay, so your phone can automatically update. I do know that sometimes you can do manual updates, but your factory reset software update. So there is nothing on there that shows anything about. I don't want you guys to see my phone and the IP address and so forth, but it says check for new updates, or system update preferences, software update assistant, system update history. That's all in the software updates, and then you can choose if you want to apply an update or what have you, if your phone is not updated. But if you go to the bottom where it says about the phone, that's where you can, in the about the phone, it tells you what the phone number is, the type of it is, and would you like to reset or do a transfer of data. He's full of crap.
To factory reset my phone and lose all of my contacts, all my.
You had 1,700 videos and pictures. New phone, my butt.
information.
Mm-hmm. What time was that? Do you remember?
Oh, sometime while I was hanging out with her, I looked at her and said, what did I just do?
Okay.
She might know better. I don't know what time it was. It was when I was here with...
Okay. I don't think I have any other questions. Do you, Louis?
I don't know where my head was yesterday. It was so far up my backside.
That's okay. We understand.
It was far up your back butt. That didn't make sense.
In the meantime, while we're waiting for all this to get sorted out, I am going to hold on to your phone, okay? I'll give it back to you when we're done.
Okay.
Okay? Do you have any questions for us?
How long are you going to need my phone?
I'm not sure. I'm waiting for my supervisor to call me.
My dad. It's just my dad's using that to get a hold of me and get updates.
They can call Jen's phone.
Did you know that high blood pressure is the #1 risk factor for Orange County Sheriff's Detective Francis Hunt was actually the first detective to speak with Sterns.
So just to be clear, when you're doing this interview, you're inside of the house, right?
I was in my vehicle.
Okay. When you first met with Mr. Sterns, you met him inside the house, though?
In the house, yes, sir.
Okay. And then you took him outside and put him in your vehicle, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And when you did that, that's when you learned about him being sleepy, it sounds like?
I don't think he was sleepy, but it sounded like he had woken up about an hour prior. Yes.
Okay. Woke up about 11 a.m.? Sounds like the interview was noonish, right?
Correct.
Okay. At any point, did you ever seek a warrant for any of the cell phones or anything in this case?
No, sir.
Okay. Did you ever look at a cell phone?
Yeah.
Did you ever ask him about a cell phone?
Yeah.
Of course.
Detective Tagler testified about red flags they noted early on in Stephan Sterns' story.
He had traveled southbound 3 times on South Jangyan Parkway towards Kissimmee, which was away from the direction of Madeline School.
Are all of these times early morning and late morning?
Both.
And then did you also get some information that in the afternoon, the car was traveling in and out of St. Cloud, Florida?
Yes.
Specifically, the travel on southbound South John Young Parkway, were those times consistent with what the defendant had described to law enforcement as his locations were?
They were not.
Tagler had received information from Detective Hunt about Sterns that raised some suspicion when it came to Maddie's disappearance.
Detective Hunt told me that Madeline and Stephan had slept together in room number 4 because Jennifer needed to get more rest that morning.
That's sick.
Equipped with this information, did you come into contact with Stephan Sterns?
Yes.
How did you know who was Stephan Sterns and how to find him in the area?
Detective
Because he was the creepy guy that was standing right there.
Hunt pointed him out.
Was your encounter with Mr. Sterns audio recorded?
Yes.
Then the questioning turned to whether Sterns was free to leave at any time and whether he consented to Detective Tagler looking at his phone.
Was Mr. Sterns' path of travel impeded by either of you?
It was not.
Was Mr. Sterns free to leave?
Yes.
Did Mr. Sterns ever communicate with you either verbally or by body language or physically a desire to end the communication with you?
He did not.
He was just talking.
At some point during your interaction with him, do you request for Mr. Sterns to take out a cell phone
Yes.
or to look at his cell phone?
Yes.
She didn't grab it from him. She asked. He gave it to her. That's still within the guidelines.
Can you remember where the cell phone was, where the defendant's cell phone was when you asked this question?
Pocket.
I do not. It was in his possession, but I don't recall where he grabbed the phone from.
Did the defendant consent to allowing you to look had his phone.
Yes.
And do you remember if Mr. Sterns' cell phone was passcoded, protected?
It was.
Ding, ding, ding. If you factory reset your phone, there is no password. Just saying.
Who entered the passcode into the phone?
Stephan.
After
That is consent.
Mr. Sterns entered the passcode in the phone and unlocked the phone, what did Mr. Sterns do with the phone?
He handed me the phone.
While you are holding the phone, where are you standing?
In the same position next to Stephan.
Do you hold the phone in a way to allow others to see what is on the phone?
Yes.
Where is Mr. Sterns at as you are looking at the phone?
Directly standing next to me.
And initially, the interaction and how the cell phone comes out, you bring up looking at maps in the phone.
Correct.
Are you familiar with the type of phone that the defendant had?
I am not.
Does that matter?
Do you also inquire as to taking a picture of, quote unquote, your history, the defendant's history? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And that's also encompassed in the audio recorded interview.
Correct.
Does the defendant ever communicate to you any limitations on what it is that you're doing?
He does not.
Detective Tagler then answered questions about asking Stephan Sterns to see his phone a second time and seeing a lack of call history on the phone.
Do you again ask Mr. Sterns to unlock the phone?
Yes.
Still
How
consent.
does that happen? Explain that process.
He again enters the code and hands me the phone.
At some point, do you bring up the lack of call history to the defendant?
I do.
What was the defendant's explanation?
He said he had accidentally factory reset his phone.
I'll get to more on what it takes to actually factory reset a
A
phone
lot.
in a bit. The questioning of Detective Tagler continued.
Was Mr. Sterns free to leave at the end of the interview?
Yes.
In fact,
You can't just accidentally do this.
he did leave your presence as well as Nation Bay, correct?
Correct.
Was Mr. Sterns' demeanor
I feel like this is a waste of time and money when we know that he did it. All the evidence that they have points to him, and yet he wants to throw this out because of what? He's already looking at the death penalty.
the same or different?
Time and resources
was
that
the
could go
same.
to something else.
Did you have any issue communicating with Mr. Sterns?
I did not.
Was Mr. Sterns cooperative with you?
Yes.
And during this second interview, did you explain what law enforcement was seeking to do with Mr. Sterns' phone?
I did.
What did you tell him?
I asked him I told him that we wanted to download the phone to see if we can get more information from his maps. And then he said that was fine.
Are you sure that you specifically said that you wanted to download information, specifically the maps?
Not just the maps, just any information on his phone. I told him that we wanted to get more information from his cell phone.
Do you remember using the words, we want to download your phone, we want to go through your phone?
Yes.
During this encounter with him, you request specific consent from him to be able to go through the phone, right?
Yes.
Do you explain to him in your question what is going to happen or what your alternative route to obtaining that cell phone download is?
Yes.
What did you say?
When I explained to him what we wanted to do with the cell phone, I asked him if I had his consent to download the phone or if I had to obtain a search warrant.
And did the defendant consent to downloading his phone?
Yes.
Ding.
Did the defendant provide you verbally with the passcode to his phone?
He did.
At the time that this interaction happened, did you or Detective Acosta impede or restrict Mr. Sterns' movements in any way?
We did not.
At any point in time, did Mr. Sterns seek to limit the scope of the cell phone download?
He did not.
Then Stephan
All he said is how long or when can I get my phone back because my dad is in contact with me about what's going on. That's literally what we've heard so far.
Sterns' lawyers questioned Detective Tagler about what exactly she viewed on his phone.
At no point did you say, do you mind if I dig through your entire phone at this point, right?
I did not.
Okay. And then when you get to the next question, it's, do you mind if I take a picture of your history, right?
Yes.
Okay. Not take a picture of his lock screen?
No.
Not take a picture of his home screen?
No.
Not take a picture of his call history?
It was his history.
Not take a picture of his emails?
I did not.
Not take a picture of the entirety of his phone, just his history, right?
Correct.
Okay. And then when you get to the next thing, you say, is it okay, let me make sure that's right. Is it okay if I go in your settings real quick? I just want to see if you're logged onto your Google, right?
Yes.
And at that point, Mr. Sterns tells you that he is not logged into his Google, right?
Correct.
Okay. But then you keep pressing and you say, is it okay if I check?
I asked, I didn't press.
You
She
asked
asked.
if it's okay you checked?
Yes.
Okay. And at that point, it was just to check whether he was logged into his Google, right?
Correct.
Not going through the entirety of his phone.
Correct.
You never asked him, can I go through the entirety of your phone?
He was standing next to me while I was on his phone.
Okay, so it's your basis that he has to say no, you can just keep digging until he says stop?
Correct.
Really?
He was standing next to me and he saw what I was doing on his cell phone.
And did you ever ask him to go through the rest of your cell phone?
I did not.
Did you ever ask him to go into his call history?
I did not.
Did you ever ask him to go through his Google Drive on the phone, if it was even was it?
I never looked at his Google Drive.
Okay. But you were looking at the rest of his phone, right?
I looked at his call history and his Google Maps.
Okay. Because you were trying to figure out that timeline, right?
Correct.
It's the only thing you were looking for at this point.
Correct.
During the second interview of Sterns on that evening, Detective Tagler
Those lawyers are just trying to get her to mess up.
told him she was going to keep his phone since they wanted to download it.
Okay. And that's the point where you told him, well, you can just talk to him through Jen's phone, right?
Yes.
Okay. And
Probable cause.
at no point was he asked to consent to seizing his phone, right?
Correct.
At no point did you ever give him any form or anything to consent to seizing his phone?
I did not. Everything's audio recorded.
Okay. And at no point did you ever get a form from him consenting to downloading his phone?
I did not.
Okay. Because everything's audio recorded.
Correct.
Sterns' lawyers have also brought up the fact that he was taking a medication used to treat anxiety when detectives were questioning him.
You became aware that Mr. Sterns had taken medication, right?
He said he had the night before.
Okay. Now, is that him?
Yes.
He told you why he took that medication, right?
Because he said he couldn't sleep and that he was very stressed and couldn't stop crying.
Right. And then he was also having panic attacks, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you knew that?
Yes, the night before.
Why your question? During the first interview?
Correct.
And the second interview?
Correct.
Got it. You aware what Ativan does?
I don't take Advance, so no.
Okay. You ever deal with anybody that taken Ativan?
No.
Relevance?
There is no
Detective
relevance.
Louis Acosta also testified about his involvement in the case.
What information did you have together about the Maddie Soto investigation?
So aside from what we had before, that she had been missing for over 24 hours, he was the last person to see her. There were many inconsistencies surrounding the time frame that he stated he dropped her off and other things. And then the tag readers and information that we had about his movement.
Had the defendant been straightforward with you and Detective Tagler regarding his movements?
No.
I should be more clear. His movements the morning of February 26, 2024.
He told us certain movements that didn't correlate to the information that we had.
Did you
Which is true.
confirm with the defendant that he regularly used his cell phone to get places, look up addresses, get store hours, directions, things like that?
Yes, I believe that was brought up.
Were you aware that there was very limited location data and mapping location data that was in his phone when Detective Tagler checked that?
Yes.
Were you aware also of information that was located on Soto's cell phone as far as communications between her and the defendant?
Yes.
What information did you have about that?
They communicated extensively, including very late at night.
On cross-examination, Acosta is asked about Sterns' phone and whether getting a warrant was ever discussed.
And during that conversation, did anybody ever mention, hey, let's get a warrant to download that?
Not to my recollection.
Okay. After you take the phone to the sheriff's office, do you ever interact with the phone again?
No.
Okay, so you just hand it off to the forensics guys and you're done?
Yes.
Okay. And did you ever ask Mr. Sterns if you could download the entirety of this phone?
I did have conversations happen with Secretary.
And did you ever seek a warrant to download the phone?
I did not.
Did you ever attempt to draft a warrant of anything?
I did not.
Now back to Stephan Sterns claiming that he accidentally factory reset his phone the morning that Maddie disappeared.
Lie.
Sergeant Darko Stemenek testified about what it takes to factory reset a phone.
Once you go into there, you have to scroll to a button that says factory reset. Once you press the factory reset button, it asks you a couple of times if you're sure. It makes you type in your PIN code to the phone again to verify that it's you to reset the password, to reset the phone, I'm sorry.
So it's multiple steps to actually accomplish the factory reset.
It is, yes.
Now, Sterns had said earlier he was not logged in to his Google Drive on his phone. Stemenek testified about that.
So when you're resetting the phone, it asks you to log back into your Google account, and then information that you have backed up on Google will repopulate onto the phone.
The judge has not ruled on Stephan Sterns' motions to suppress the evidence gathered from his phone and his Google Drive. And his trial on that sexual battery charge has now been continued to July. It was supposed to start in May. His trial on the murder charge is set for December. Wow. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Angela.
See, it goes to show, like, you know how we watched this one, how it takes forever. Like, they're looking at this and they're looking at that, and then the battery is in May, and then this other one is in July, and then the actual murder case is in December. And then you look at the Chris Watts case, and you're like, that was done, signed, sealed, delivered in days, closed, and then not even in, or what was it, September, October, November, 3 months, they had their, not trial, but his sentencing, and that was it. This one's been going on for almost 2 years now. And yet this man wants to sit there and, oh, I want to toss out this abuse that was on my phone. Like, what are we doing? Why are we, how do I say this? How are we entertaining the idea that he wants this thrown out because his rights and his consent were invaded? They asked him politely, can we look at your phone? Okay, so yeah, look at my, I know there's rules and regulations that they have to abide by because of states and federal laws, and this man destroyed this little girl's life. The mother was not there protecting her. She allowed them to sleep in the same bed. I've never done that with my kids besides when my son was a baby and I was rocking him to sleep and then put him in his crib. But you're sleeping as an adult with a 13-year-old girl stepdaughter. That's a no-go. I definitely want to look in more of this case because it is coming up in July of May. We're in May. There's things that are going to come up in July, and then his actual trial and sentencing in December. So I'm definitely going to follow this a lot more in how they say it, hawkish eyes, or being a hawk and watching the case. So if you guys would like me to follow this case a little bit more, definitely comment below. Hit the like button. I hope this man gets the death penalty. I have no sympathy, no desire to keep anybody that destroys children's lives, murder and all that stuff. We don't need them here anymore. We don't. I know that's between him and God, but I'm so sick of people taking advantage of others and their innocence when they could be, Stephan could be going and doing something better with his life, fishing, RC hobbies, or computers, or whatever have you, finding something, but yet, no, he'd rather destroy a little girl's life that she probably confided in him, or not confided, but she probably trusted him in a certain way, and he took advantage of her. So, also, I still think Jennifer Soto deserves to be locked up as well, because as a parent, your job is to protect them. And if you don't, usually CPS, Child Protective Services, comes in and removes the child until they can deem if the parent is coherent or mentally able to take care of child. And looking at all the evidence that I've seen so far, Jennifer Soto was not in the rightest mind. So I think she should be charged as well. Do you agree? Let me know in the comments. Again, I thank you guys for being here. Please take care, be safe, and as always, keep nerding on, and we will see you guys in the next video.